Hello, hello, hello. What's up, y'all? What's up, Lip Block? Hey, Teresa. Hey, Katie Ann. Hey, Miss Justice. That's fine. That's fine, honey. Hey, Vic. Poppy's in the house already. Lisa Kleckner. Yeah, that's fine, Lisa. I usually, don't go live this early, so I know you guys got other responsibilities. It's all good in the hood. Hey, Susan. Hey, Borrowed Angel. Good to see you, too. State of Confusion's in the house. We Scottish Mom. Oh, let me get a drink of my coffee. What a morning, what a morning. So, today, my young whippersnappers, I'm going to be talking about a case. Hey, State of Confusion. I'm going to be talking about a case from my home state of Indiana. Like the title says, my state has problems too, not just Tennessee. We got some messed up people in Indiana too. For real. For real, y'all. This case is heartbreaking to me. Just heartbreaking. And we'll give everybody a few minutes to come in. Everybody's day been going good? Y'all been having a good day? Guess what? I got my new electric pole today. Woo woo. New electric pole. It's not one you can dance on, though. I cannot dance on the electric pole. Okay? It's not that kind of pole. Just letting y'all know. I know how some people think, oh, she's got a pole. Girl, even if I had a pole, oh, thank you, Teresa. He's almost back to being his normal asshole self, you know? But he is feeling a little bit better. Well, you can flush your toilet now, right, Lip Lock? You ain't got to go in the bushes no more. Yeah, they came. They just showed up this morning. You know how those people are. I was like, how many people from the electric company does it take to change an electric pole? I think I counted like 8. And I was like, I'm all good with that. I don't care if there's 20 of you out there. Ooh, you did, wee Scottish Mom. Hey, Mrs. Colt, 45 Zigzag. Love Day Jones. That's very interesting. Very interesting thing to say. Huh. Very intriguing, isn't it? Very intriguing stuff. I don't know where you got that. Personally. But feel free to tell me if you like before I start my stuff. What's up, Dynamite? Dynamite. I've heard so many different things about Indiana. Indiana. Indiana wants me. Lord, I can't go back there. You guys ever heard that song? Indiana wants me. Lord, I can't go back there. Don't believe everything you hear about Indiana, okay? Seriously. Seriously. You heard it somewhere, but you can't confirm it. I've never heard of Candace having relatives in Indiana. I have heard about someone else having relatives in Indiana. Actually, I heard uh, 2 individuals with some type of ties to Indiana. But, oh, you are Dynamite? Evansville? Whoop, whoop. Hoosiers in the house. Hoosiers in the house. Oh, you know the song, Gary? Hey, Patty. Good to see you. Hey, Ann. I'm just going to call you Ann. We will call you in for the day. So anyhow, yes, like I said, I ain't never heard of her having relatives, but a couple other ones. For real, for real. Oh, I can call you Al. You can call me Al. Call me Al. You guys got me singing already this morning. My voice ain't loosened up. My voice is what? You know what? Love Day Jones. I'm not to be disrespectful, but I'm not. Right now, maybe when I'm done with my content that I want to talk about, I'll be glad to banter back and forth with you about the Summer Wells case. But right now, I want to talk about something that's happening in my state, in my neck of the woods. Okay? Not being disrespectful, not trying to be a bitch. Okay? For real, for real. Just letting you know. So, anyhow, you guys, this is a case that's very disturbing to me. Very disturbing, I have to say. Let me get this picture of this woman up on this screen here. Okay, y'all, see this lady? Isn't she just a sight for sore eyes? Her name is Amber Griffith. Griffith. Hey, Pat. Hey, Sonia. Susan, I said hi to you, didn't I? So, Amber Griffith, 28 years old, has been arrested and charged. Let me give my, sorry, I got to give my channel spiel real quick. Okay. Oh yeah, my daughter wants me to cover the Delphi case, Love Day Jones. So, that is coming. I promise I'm going to talk about the Delphi case here soon. But anyhow, welcome to my channel, Opinions and Theories with No Repercussions. We are only human, okay? I am a human being. All right? Just to let you know that. I am not an AI. I commentate. If you get a little education, that's a thumbs up. Some things are alleged, some things are hearsay. A lot of things are in my opinion. And if you are entertained by me, then Lord love you, is all I can say. Jesus loves you for that. And Trigger warning all over. Okay. And of course, fair use. I always throw fair use in there, even though I've had people say, who cares if you put fair use in your title, right? I'm like, go somewhere else. So, anywho, oh, you're a human being too? I know. Okay. So, anyhow, Amber Griffiths, 28 years old, has been arrested and charged with one count of neglect of a dependent resulting in serious bodily injury. Level 3 felony. And hey, Katie Ann, let me tell you why. According to court documents, an investigation began after this lady's son was taken to a hospital on January 19th due to his foot turning black, trigger warning, from frostbite. Hey, Vanita, from frostbite. Police said he underwent surgery the same day to remove the damaged tissue on his foot, with the worst case scenario being this small child, I believe he's 3 years old, possibility the child having to have his leg amputated below his knee. This child had frostbite so bad on his foot. Now, hang on. So, they talked to, I'm going to call her this lady. Okay. They talked to this lady. Ruler is out. This lady. And found out that she lived at a home on East Gamber Street with 2 relatives. I believe her aunt and her mom. The home had 0 heat, 0 running water. They said due to the pipes being frozen. Excuse me. And the only thing that I can think of why they wouldn't have had heat is if they had those, shoot, what are they called? Flies knew what, radiators? The radiators that kind of run off of the hot water, right? Hey, state of confusion. A shaky day. Are you okay, Vanita? Hey, Karen with a C. So anyhow, court documents reveal that despite this lady over here saying that her son's foot was slightly discolored 4 weeks before she took him to the hospital. But get this. When Grandma found out that the little boy's foot was hurt was when this lady was going to the hospital because her foot hurt. Her foot hurt. So when, I believe it was Grandma, was putting this little boy's shoe on, that's when they noticed that his foot was messed up. So let's not do anything about the boy's foot hurting, but when this lady's foot hurts, oh, she needed to go to the hospital. Now, I'm telling you guys, this shit is weird, okay? So we do know that it has been really cold here. The temperatures have been in the single digits. Living in a house, no heat, no water, horrible conditions. Horrible conditions. Oh, I can't. Okay. So the aunt and the grandmother lived in the home, but said they didn't notice any signs of frostbite before going to the hospital. Like I said, they didn't freaking notice anything about this boy until mommy needed to go to the hospital because her foot hurt. So when they went to put his shoe on, that's when they noticed and admitted to noticing that the boy's legs looked dry and red for several days before noticing, and I'll say trigger warning, before noticing that this little boy's foot was actually black. And I'm going to show you different signs of frostbite, okay? Just so you guys can get a visual of it. Island girl, I want to be an island girl. I agree, Susan. Well, Karen, that's getting kind of, okay. So, then, that's not all. The abuse hotline for our state is 1-800-800-5556. Let me repeat that. The Indiana State Hotline for Abuse or Neglect, 1-800-800-5556. Sorry I didn't put that on my banner. Okay? But I'm curious why no one else noticed anything. So here's the kicker. Are y'all ready for this? Mommy starts talking out of her head. She starts telling police that she had given birth to multiple children with no names. This lady right here. Given birth to multiple children. What do you mean, Bonita, Indiana again? There's a lot of crap that goes on in Indiana. So, she had given birth multiple times to children that had no names or social security numbers, including that she gave birth to twins in November, trigger warning, before she physically until one of the babies was unalive because it would not stop crying. That's what she said, right? That's what she said. So, she even claimed that she buried the infant on her own. Now, this lady here, oh my goodness, guess what? She told police, now listen to this. Hey, Granny's house. Listen to this. She decides to tell police that she is an injector of the poison, the injector of the poisonous substance beginning with the letter H. I'm not going to say it. Please don't put it in my chat. And extreme upper that starts with an M. So the H and the M. And I'm not talking about the department store. Hey, Jack. Hey, Nada. I know, Benita. You know, it's very important, and I've said this before, that a lot of us are so hell-bent on Tennessee and what happens in Eastern Tennessee and in that area. And we've got this stuff going on in our own backyard. So, the grandmother who lived in the home admitted to police that she was the primary caregiver due to this lady having hallucinations and not paranormal, paranoia. Sorry, y'all. Not paranormal, paranoia. Hey, Zena. So, in addition to her use of substances, H&M, the grandmother told police the woman was diagnosed with bipolar and severe depression, but refused to seek help or treatment. But if this lady is doing substances, that's probably one of the reasons she did not feel the need to get any help. What is wrong with people? And look, they did take cadaver dogs to the home to search, to see if there was anything buried or any signs in the home. They didn't find any, you guys. They found no signs that anything was buried or anything like that. So they didn't find any remains at all. Now, she's being held on $40,000 bond, right? And what is it? Most of the time, it's like 10%, right? So, but if she's convicted, she can face between 3 to 16 years in prison for the level 3 felony. This is where the problem is. This is where the problem is. Hey, Michelle. Her mother says, I'm assuming grandmother's her mother, says she's got mental health issues. She's talking crazy to law enforcement. So we already know what a defense attorney's going to do, right? We already know what a defense attorney's going to do. Hold on. I want to pull up this, let me get your ugly face off there, you bitch. You bitch. You're going away for a moment. Hopefully for a long time. We're going to talk about frostbite. Now, this is from the Mayo Clinic. Everybody knows the Mayo Clinic. There's 3 stages of frostbite. These are just some of the questions. Frostbite can occur within 15 minutes or less. Of course, with excessive wind chill factors, values of 18 below or 0. And it did get really cold here, you guys. It really did get cold here. Fingers, toes, earlobes, and the tip of the nose are the most vulnerable parts of the body. Mild frostbite. Let me pop that up there. I've got my laptop open, so I gotta look. I gotta look this way. Okay, so during frostbite, you'll experience pins and needles, throbbing or aching in the affected area. Your skin will become cold and numb and white, and you may feel a tingling sensation. That is mild frostbite. Okay? Mild frostbite. If you notice your skin developing a gray, white, yellow, blue, or black discoloration, or if after trying to rewarm the area you do not feel sensation returning to the numb skin, of course you need to get medical attention. Why does frostbite turn black? Is when the tissues actually begin to freeze. Okay? So the mild frostbite involves the outer layer of the skin, of the tissues, which gives it a hard white appearance. Severe frostbite freezes, trigger warning, right through to the bone. Right through to the bone. Now, I'm assuming that the child didn't go to school, right? So it's just beyond my comprehension how 3 freaking adults can live in a home and not notice that a child has severe frostbite on his foot. How do you not see that? And didn't notice until they put his shoe on to go with mommy to the hospital because her foot hurt. Make it make sense, y'all. Make it make sense. In the late stages of frostbite, dark purple or black skin color, no feeling or pain in that part of the body. After it got to that certain point. Trigger warning. Trigger warning. I'm going to show, he runs with scissors. I'm going to show you guys some pictures of frostbite, okay? These pictures are very disturbing. If you are easily triggered, please remove yourself and come back another time. We will not be upset about it, okay? Are y'all ready? Because here we go. Now that's frostbite on the fingertips. Okay? You can see the white discoloration. What they talked about it being, what stages it was. So, if you have frostbite, your skin may look white or grayish, and it could have a waxy feeling. Don't try to warm a frostbite injury until you are in a warm area. If a frostbite injury is warmed and then re-exposed to the cold, it can make the damage worse. I'm just giving you guys a little frostbite lesson here real quickly. That's on the face. This frostbite injury was treated with snow. It was once a common way to treat this injury. Of course, now they know that it will make the injury worse. Never rub or massage frostbitten tissue. Better to be treated with warm, not hot water or body heat. Now, big time trigger warning. Blisters on frostbitten toes. This injury occurred because the person was wearing inadequate footwear in freezing temperatures. Now, are they going to tell me that there were no blisters on that baby's toes? That they never noticed? They never noticed. That is severe neglect. 3, Vanita. 3. Severe frostbitten hands and fingers. I'll show it, but I was more wanting to talk about. See the blisters? See the blisters? There's no way. There's no way that they could have been watching this boy. This is the blisters right there, as they start to come up. Oh. There's no way that they could have been dressing this baby appropriately. There's no way that they could have been at all treating this baby. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. Three grown adult women living in that house. Now, she admitted that she noticed his foot was discolored weeks earlier. But didn't do anything until her foot was hurting. That's the way it seems to me, Lip Lock. That's why I said maybe with him being so young and he was at home, they didn't pay any attention. That's what they said, Susan. No heat in the house, no water. Said the pipes had frozen, right? Didn't notice until she admitted that she noticed that her son's foot was discolored. They notice that his skin was a little red and dry. Grandma noticed his legs appeared dry and inflamed days before he was hospitalized. Days before he was hospitalized. Now, she did. This is the thing. This lady here, the grandmother claimed, of course, that she got bipolar. She's depressed, right? Hey, Sassy. But reports indicated that this lady had lost 2 other children in 2015. Why? Because her home was filthy and lacked running water, power, or heat. I get you, Zena. There's organizations here in Indiana that help low-income people pay, right? Pay their utilities. Someone with children in that home, in my opinion, would have helped get those pipes unfroze. Here in Indiana, we have what's called energy assistance. I've had to use it once or twice. It's not something that I do all the time, for the pure fact that I am blessed and can afford to take care of my bills, especially in cold weather. Thank God I'm blessed to be able to do that. And I do know that there are many, many families who have a, problem with trying to pay the high electric bills and gas bills and stuff through the winter when it gets very, very cold outside. That is a rare one. So I'm not sure what kind of heat they had. But I know in my heart, no, it doesn't say that grandma and mom's users too. And from what this is what sounds weird to me, Liplock, is the fact that with her talking crazy out of her head like she was, and then grandma's like, oh, she got bipolar and she's depressed. Then you have to say, well, okay, but she says she's a substance abuser. I mean, kind of sounds to me like they are setting her up to get out of it somehow. But my opinion on this is they should all be charged. Now, they haven't said if there were other children in the home. They haven't said that. And this just happened. And I will be staying on top of this. And I've even thought about, when she goes to court, going down to the courthouse, going down to downtown Indianapolis and going, yes, Mr. Jack. Do you have a cue for a question? Yeah, well, it's a case from Indiana. It's a case from Indiana where this woman here. Hold on, I gotta put my password in the freaking laptop again. This is what bothers me too. It's not like that she's not old enough, right, to know better. They are still investigating it, and I really hope, I really hope that she gets charged. She is 28 years old. And you notice that his legs don't look right. You notice something's wrong with these legs. And if they were changing this little boy's socks, I think that they would notice that something is not adding up. Michelle, what does this case have to do with the Wells? I don't get it. But enlighten me, please. I mean, yeah, allegedly, one of the Wells boys got burned on a stove, but he didn't have to go in and have his foot taken off or have his hand taken off where he got burnt. There, yeah, Vanita, how was he walking? Why, with 3 grown adults, how did they not see that something wasn't right until her freaking legs, her foot started hurting? You think 28's young, Jack? I don't know. I mean, she's admitted to doing the injectable poison and the extreme upper. There's, I don't think he could have been lip lock. But they notice when they go to stick a shoe on his foot. It had to have been, I don't understand. It had to have been painful, right? For this boy. I believe they did take him to Peyton Manning's Children's Hospital. Love Peyton Manning. He has done a wonderful thing for Indianapolis and Indiana to, of course, when he quarterbacked for the Colts, that was one of his projects. And Peyton Manning's Children's Hospital is 1,000% something that we needed here. And Peyton did that for us. Okay. Love Peyton Manning. Love me some Peyton Manning. Absolutely. It's so disturbing. Yes, her name is Amber Griffith, age 28. Amber Griffith, age 28. They do all 3 need to be charged. Absolutely. And they're kind of holding here, I'll let you guys here, we'll listen to it. This is release from Fox 59 News. Definitely want to give credit to Fox 59 News for sure. Oh, wait, there's a commercial. It's all right. I got it muted. I'll wait for the commercial to go. It might take a second. Do, 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 do.
Now live at 5, an Indianapolis woman is accused of child neglect after authorities say her son's foot turned black from frostbite.
Fox 59's Jesse Wells explains how this case took an unusual twist after detectives interviewed that suspect.
According to court records, while talking to police about the alleged neglect, the suspect claimed she had given birth to multiple kids with no names or social security numbers. She also claimed she had beaten one of those kids to death and buried it herself. That led police to search this home behind me with a cadaver dog last week. With temperatures in the single digits earlier this month, a family lived inside this home with no heat or running water until a nonverbal 3-year-old boy was taken to Riley Children's Hospital with severe frostbite to his foot, which may have to be amputated.
Certainly a disturbing case that our child abuse detectives are working.
The boy's mother, 28-year-old Amber Griffith, is now charged with neglect of a dependent. The victim's aunt and grandmother also live in the home.
Do you want to come up on panel and explain it, Michelle? We're not naive over here. We know that there's many similarities, but I wasn't speaking about the Wells today. So I apologize for that. I don't know what channel is, but hey, Nubia Max.
Home, but insist they didn't notice any signs of frostbite before going to the hospital.
It's so important to speak up and say something because lots of times kids can't speak for themselves.
Really, it is all of our job to protect children and families.
Sarah Klein with the Villages, which oversees Prevent Child Abuse Indiana, reminds everyone to contact the state's hotline if they see warning signs of abuse or neglect.
Child abuse and neglect is preventable. We all have a role in preventing it.
In this case, this affidavit contains a series of outlandish claims by Griffith about human trafficking. She also told police she gave birth to twins in a bucket in November before she beat one baby to death to get it to stop crying.
Our agency takes those allegations extremely seriously, and we as public servants have to go out and investigate those claims.
Although,
Karen, you are extensive, aren't you? I do not want misinformation to be put out there. I don't know if that's the case or not, okay?
Though the suspect confessed she frequently uses drugs and family members insist she hallucinates and suffers from bipolar depression, 2 children were removed from her care in March 2015 because of filthy living conditions. That made her claims credible enough that police searched the home using a canine, but did not find any signs of human remains. Finally, the suspect has made her initial court hearing and is being held on a $40,000 bond pending trial. Jesse Wells, Fox 59 News.
I think it should be more. I think it should be more. I don't understand how these people can do this. And yes, nonverbal, right? I don't know, Flies. They haven't said, but this is the way I see it, right? That obviously this baby had been neglected for a long time. Well, Jack, they think that she's, because they claim she's bipolar and depressed, right? So she's telling them these tales, and they took canines and tried to see if she was telling the truth or not. And there are no signs at all that is true what she's saying. But then again, if she's injecting the poison H and using extreme M, I'll say, hard telling. Hard telling. So you got a little boy who's nonverbal, who's not talking at 3 years old, okay? Which he should be having, he should be having verbalization of some kind. This is my opinion, and excuse my French, but I think these fucking 3 women sat in that house and didn't pay no mind whatsoever to this boy. They didn't have water, they didn't have heat, and nobody noticed. Oh, yeah, we kind of noticed that, his legs were kind of red. And the sad part about it is, at 3 years old, this little guy could lose his limb from the knee down. How horrific is that? When this bitch, the only reason they even noticed was because her foot hurt. Her foot hurt. Yeah, I don't know. They haven't said that the aunt and they haven't said a lot. Right now, they're not saying a lot. They're just giving everybody the basic, hey, Granny, giving the basic rundown on what is going on. It will be a shame if Remain Calm goes to that courthouse and sees her face, because have you guys ever seen those videos where people like jump over the rail in a court and they're just like, you guys may see a video of me, okay? And I can guarantee you it will go viral. They need to keep her ass in jail. Drugs, Michelle. Drugs. Hey, Sue. Drugs. Because, Michelle, if you have receipts showing that those children in that home, receipts showing that those children in that home were abused, please email them to me. That's all I'm going to say about that. Do we think shit like that happened at 110 Ben Hill Road? Absolutely. Hey, Barbie. I don't know, State of Confusion. You're fine. You are fine. So, a nonverbal 3-year-old boy is left in a home, freezing cold. Freezing cold. Cold enough where he loses a limb because of it. But mommy's foot hurt. Mommy's foot hurt. So let's take him to the, They didn't plan on taking him to the hospital, right? They were just putting his shoe on to take him to the hospital with mommy because mommy's foot hurt. Right? It is horrible, Vanita. Horrible. You know, when it, and not that, not, hang on, you guys. Yes, sir. So, yeah, true crime junkie. This is a different case. I'm talking about this woman from Indiana right here. And a 2x4. You guys are going to have to bond me out for sure. I don't, well, the thing is, Katie Ann, as cold as it was here, I mean, it's starting to warm up a little bit, but it was very cold for a few days. It was, I mean, tremendously cold. Tremendously cold. But they wasn't worried about little man, I'll call him, because they have not released his name. And you know, that's fine. They will end up releasing his name, and I'll let you guys know when they do release it. You know, at this time, they aren't talking about who his natural father is or anything like that. They're just starting the investigation on it. Thankfully, hey Dee Dee, thank goodness that he's still alive, right? Still alive. So, but I'd be kicking some ass. You know, kicking ass and taking names later. It is disgusting, Jack. It's disgusting. And let me tell you guys something. Yeah, they haven't even said whether the mom had frostbite or not. They haven't said that yet. But I will be keeping up with this and definitely letting you all know what is happening on that front. I'm digging deep on this one, and I'm going to see if I can't get someone to have a conversation with me about it. I'm not going to put it out there. I mean, I don't want to say definitely that it's going to happen, because if it don't happen, I don't want to look like an idiot, you know. So, but this is what I don't understand. If they had no heat and they had no water, that house couldn't have been in good condition. It couldn't have been, it had to have, there's no way that house could have been clean. No water, how do you wash dishes? No water, how do you bathe? When was the last time this little man had a bath? How were they cleaning him? If they didn't even notice he had frostbite, when did they clean this baby? A lot of people failed. Yes, you're right. You're right, Nubian Max. It would have been colder than a refrigerator, Carrie. It would have been a hell of a lot colder than a refrigerator. I had heat. I had heat. And there was a couple times that I turned my heat up to 74 because I was freezing my ass off. I couldn't imagine a little 3-year-old being cold. To the point where he had to have been shaking. And let me tell you, this is the thing. Even if they had blankets on that baby, right? Even if they had blankets on him, when did this baby get up and go play? Do you think he got to play with it cold? Do you think that he got to get out from under the blanket and play like a normal child? I don't think so. That's my opinion. I don't think so. There were 3 adult females in the house. 3 adult females. Yeah, Jack, there are warming centers, places where homeless can go and shower, get a warm meal. I don't get it. I don't know if I would feel any differently if it was just the mother and him. They did not say that he hadn't eaten or he was very thin. Right now, their focus is on the frostbite. But how do you not know that a 3-year-old, how do you not know that a 3-year-old is having problems? Because let me tell you, the frostbite probably did get to the point where he wasn't feeling the pain. But there was a point before it got this bad that this child had to have felt that. They're saying both, Newbie and Max. They're saying both. She said she did the H and she did the M. And her grandmother, that they're calling her, says that this woman has bipolar and depression. Craziness. I know many people who have bipolar, and maybe it's not the extreme bipolar, but I've never known of anyone to do this at all. There's too many people. There's too many people that would have helped. I'm serious. I could have sent Todd. If somebody was in that situation and their pipes were frozen, it's like, hey, if I know, I don't have to personally know him. I would have said, Todd, will you take your salamander heater and go over and open up the cabinets and get some heat on them pipes? Because there's a baby in the house. Yeah, that's interesting, Sonia, because Yeah. And we do have energy assistants. And they are very good at helping people. They're very good at it. All you got to do is apply for it. I don't know, Vanita. I don't know if anybody else knew about him. I don't. I'm just practicing what I preach. Because I always say to people, Summerwell's case, of course, is very, very important. But we've got stuff like this going on in our own states. And we don't talk about it. We don't talk about stuff going on right under our flipping noses. But let me tell you, I can tell you more about East Tennessee and Beach Creek than I can tell you a lot of what's going on in my own state. Because that's what I've lived. On June 15th, 2024 will be 3 years that a lot of us have dug deep into everything, every person, the sheriff, law enforcement, TBI. We've all tried to find something bad. I mean, we found something bad. But you guys know what I'm saying. And this is going on in my state. So it's very important that I also talk about things that's going on in my state. I think it's very important that, you know, creators talk about things going on in their state. I think that may have been it, KDM. Look, when you've got individuals who live in a hoarder house, right? Or you got individuals who's living in a house of ill repute, or you got individuals living in whatever you want to call dope houses. There's many different names for them. Trap houses, whatever. Most of the time, they're not going to call law enforcement. They're not going to go ask for help. Because they don't want you to know what's going on in their personal life. Thank you, Vanita. $40,000 isn't enough for you, lady. 10%, what's that? 4,000 of 40,000? Right? And let me tell you, she's going to, in my opinion, get by with it because she's going to say mental health. Hey, Bootsy. And that's how most of these people get by with hurting children. That's how so many of them get by with hurting our children because they say that they're mentally unstable. And it's sickening. It's sickening. And I know somebody asked me the other day, what would you recommend? I don't know what I would recommend. It's so overwhelming sometimes. Because I can write up a whole paper on what I would like to see changed. Things that I would love to be changed for our children. But in the one paper that I'm putting the pros on what we need to do, there's going to be 5 pages of cons. That some politician's going to say, we can't do that because of this, and this. And I know I don't talk politics on my channel, but these people need to start giving a shit about our kids. Because I don't see it happening. I don't see it happening. Get caught with some weed, you're going to do some time. Get caught ordering a baby, yeah, we'll give you a year. We'll give you house arrest. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. There's a lady being investigated for having her child out. Oh, I seen that. Oh, that's a big thing, Jack. Actually, I have that. I'm going to show that. Thank you for mentioning that. I'm going to show that. Let me get out of this. This baby had to have been mistreated. This baby had to have been mistreated. I have that on my watch list, Jack. Thank you for mentioning it. It's freaking crazy. Let me find it. Let me find it for you. I still need to, well, I thought it's in here. I got so much stuff on my watch later list. Anyhow, let me see if I can find it. This woman, with the freezing cold outside, goes into Walmart with her baby that only has a diaper on. Let me see if I can pull it up on this. She goes into Walmart. Her baby has no clothes on, only a diaper. And she's just going through the store. Right here it is. Hang on and I'll share it with you. I've been... Hang on, whippersnappers. Welcome to my low budget channel. Here you go. Now listen to this.
A 5-year Walmart employee here in the Metro loses her job for posting a video that has gone viral.
Felicia Darling says when the child entered the Byram store last week during record-breaking cold temperatures wearing only a diaper, well, she had to do something. I spoke to her tonight, and she says she knew she had to do something quick. Felicia Darling said something to the mother, as did a male customer. Here's some of the interaction.
He came in here without that jacket on. Yeah, he did. That baby just had a pimple on. That's all he got on. I can't.
This baby was shaking. She brought him in with only a diaper on, while mommy had on a sweater, jeans, boots, and he's shaking. And you know what mom's doing? She's going down the freezer aisle and she's throwing frozen food in the freaking cart with this boy, and he's already freezing cold.
He's just an innocent soul. He didn't ask to be here. So I took action and I started recording her. Minutes in the video, she threw cold food on the baby.
Yeah, don't do that.
And he sadly just looked down.
Somebody call police on her.
It seemed like in his eyes, he was just looking for help. He was crying out for help.
Get out there, man.
A man was telling her, "You throwing cold food on the baby." She walks off and swerves.
Yeah, don't do that. Somebody call police.
No, what's wrong with you?
Somebody call police on her.
Who are you? Lower my voice. Lower your voice. Who are you?
Get out there, man. Get out there, man. Please.
Crazy.
What the hell? Somebody call police on her.
Go ahead, CPS already called 2 times. I keep paying. So once you got hot water, fire extinguisher.
But when you come in the store full of dress,
Now, what she's saying, y'all, is that people's already called CPS on her a couple times. They've come to her house and she's like, I got hot water. I got food in the refrigerator. They got heat. They got clothes. So call them. She didn't care. Yeah, the employee got fired for recording this. She got fired for recording this. This mama didn't care. And I ain't done, because I'm going to tell you what her response was. Let me finish playing it.
Now, I'm going to call the cops right now.
A customer in a riding shopping cart purchases an outfit for the boy and dresses him while the mother flips through her phone.
After the lady in the riding cart put the outfit on the baby, she walks out of Walmart and started walking to her car. Was walking to her car. A cop was walking behind her, and they arrested her and they took the baby. They took the baby and CPS was called.
26-year-old Cambria Darby was arrested and charged with child neglect. Child Protective Services released the child to a family member. Byram police say Darby has bonded out. We reached out to Walmart after Darling was fired. This is their statement in full. Quote, "We share the concern others have for the child in the video in our store in Jackson, Mississippi. We don't discuss personnel matters involving current or former associates. All associates are encouraged and empowered to use their judgment in contacting authorities when they see something that may be wrong. However, all associates are also expected to follow the Walmart Code of Conduct."
Walmart Code of Conduct. Which basically why she got fired was because she videotaped it. Or videoed it, not taped it. She didn't videotape it. Y'all know what I'm saying. So, CPS comes. Not only do they take baby, but they take her other children as well. Now, the Walmart girl, I'll call her, that got fired, set up a GoFundMe because she got fired. Now, okay, she needed to pay her bills, so she set up a GoFundMe. In that GoFundMe, she stated that also some of the some of the money she was going to get from the GoFundMe were going to go to this woman's kids. This woman's family isn't happy about that. They did not give that woman permission to start a GoFundMe and proceed to add this woman's children into the GoFundMe, right? So, They weren't happy about that. Then the mother comes out with a statement and says, my kids go on vacations, Walt Disney World, VIP, met Mickey Mouse, VIP, wear the finest of clothes. We donate clothes because they're, our kids dress, we dress our kids in the best. And I'm like, excuse my French, why the fuck did you take that baby into Walmart in only a diaper in freezing temperatures? And then to bite off your nose, to spite your ugly face, you start throwing frozen food in the cart on the baby. Make that make sense. Make it make sense. What is wrong with people? I don't know where Act Right People is today, but damn it, act right, people. Hey, Damaris. You're good. You're good, Damaris. I've told this story before, and I'll tell it again really quickly. My daughter and I were in the grocery store. And I turn around and look, and my daughter's looking at me, and all the blood has drained from her face. And I noticed that there's a man and a boy, and the boy was probably maybe 9 to 11, I want to say. And I noticed them back there. And this man is on the phone. And my daughter said, Mom, he just choked that boy. And I said, what do you mean? He said, he grabbed him by the throat. I don't know what he was going off on the little boy about. I have not a clue. And this guy's on the phone and starts calling my daughter a bitch and stuff, right? And I said, I stepped in. I was like, you're not going to talk to my daughter that way. He started making remarks like, that boy is my property. He's my property. And I'll do whatever I want with him. I mean, the exchange got pretty heated. It happened so long ago, I can't even remember exactly what my response was at that time. But a manager comes over. The guy is pissed. He takes the boy and walks out the door. And I was really concerned, not so much about myself, but about my daughter. We had to go out of that store to get into a car. But the way that man said, he's my property, I was like, something's not right here, right? I'll look into that, true crime junkie. I'll look into that, Carrie. These people, I will say this, because of Summer's case, I think a lot of people, a lot of the cases that we're hearing with children and stuff, now this case at Walmart, I don't believe that the woman was on any substances. I don't know. I mean, she acted way out of line. but I can't say that she was on substances. I think she was more or less just being a smartass. Yeah, there's a lot of things that go on in Walmart for sure. So, but yeah, that's what the man said. He was mad. I don't know if the little boy wanted something and, you know, he didn't want to pay for it. I'm not sure what the whole situation was, but he snatched that little boy up by his throat. And I felt horrible for that boy. And I told my daughter, I was like, oh my gosh, you know, did we make it worse by going, hey man, you know, that's not cool? Did we make it worse for that little boy? Because, you know, they left, they walked out of that store, and my concern was for the boy. I thought, oh my gosh, now, you know, and look, I know people always say, if you see something, say something. But that's scary to do also, because, I mean, we reacted the way we did, of course, and the guy was just a pure dick, and, you know, the "he's my property" and things like that was just totally crazy in my mind for him to even say something like that. But then when they didn't even pay for their stuff, he took that boy and left, and I'm like, now I was totally overwhelmed with the thought of that little boy being taken to a car. And if this man's going to grab a son by his throat with people standing around in a grocery store, my heart was like, oh my gosh, what is going to happen to him when they get to that vehicle? Now, the manager had kept us in the store long enough that I did not see the car that they got into. I did not see the vehicle they got into. Unfortunately, I wish I would have. Of course, I would have called and reported the man. The grocery store had to have had it on film, him doing that. But yeah, it's you know, I don't know. I don't know. We do care about these kids. We do care about these kids. There's no way in hell anybody's going to tell me 3 grown adult women were in a freaking home and for weeks had no heat and had no freaking running water, and that they had to have neglected this child if they hadn't looked at his feet in weeks. And all they said was, yeah, his legs were a little red and dry. It doesn't make any sense to me. This woman from Walmart, oh, I'm a great mother. I take my kids on vacation. They wear the best of the clothes. They do all this stuff. But you took your baby in freezing temperatures from a car in a parking lot into a store, walked down the freezer aisle, people seeing that baby shaking because he's so cold. And then she twerks. She twerks. This man tied his child's hair to a shopping cart in Walmart. People are just so mad, crazy control freaks. Oh, yeah. Yeah, weird shit does go on at Walmart, for sure. Weird stuff definitely goes on at Walmart, for sure. All right. So we're going to talk about one more case. One more case. That's very disturbing to me. And I'll tell you what's weird, you guys, is a lot of my subs watch the same stuff I do. I mean, Jack knew about the woman in the Walmart, and I seen that. And then Flies, we're talking about a case that is very disturbing, okay, you guys? It's very disturbing. And so she sent me, I'm gonna pull it up on my phone, y'all, because it's, what I got is from the, let me close my laptop here. Got too much stuff going on. Give me 1 second, you guys. Trigger warning, trigger warning. This content is not suitable for everyone. If you are very easily triggered, please leave and feel free to come back another time. Let me get my box. Darn it, for my phone. Hang on. Hang on, y'all. Give me a minute. All right, you guys, if you can hear this when I start it, somebody please put a 1 in chat. I want to make sure you guys can hear this. This is the case of a 14-year-old boy who R'd his 10-year-old cousin and unalived her.
Suspect was known to the victim. A 10-year-old little girl is found sexually assaulted and murdered.
Can you hear that?
And her own teenage cousin is the suspect. Now, a judge has ruled that the teenager's case will remain in adult court as he faces charges of intentional homicide and sexual assault. We're covering everything you need to know about this brutal case with legendary former homicide detective Phil Waters. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. A judge in Chippewa County, Wisconsin, ruled last week that a teen boy charged with sexually assaulting and killing 10-year-old Ileana Lily Peters will have his case remain in adult court. This means instead of moving it to the juvenile system. Now, this suspect, who's been identified as CPB in court documents, this guy was 14 years old, 14, when he allegedly lured his cousin, yes, his cousin, into a wooded area on April 24th, 2022.
Now, this is what's interesting to me, because in court documents, it's CPB or whatever, right? But yet, they're going to try it as him as an adult, right?
Now, that night, Lily's father reported her missing, saying that she hadn't returned from a trip on her bike to her aunt's place. The bike was eventually found later that night in the woods, less than a mile from where Lily's aunt's home was located. And then Lily's body was found the next day in those woods. And evidence suggested that she had been strangled, that she had been sexually assaulted, and that she had been beaten with a large stick. This is according to investigators. There was a lot of blunt force trauma.
Thank you, Flies.
Now,
Thank you,
according to the
Dammers.
criminal complaint, the suspect told law enforcement he killed Lily. Then he confessed that he sexually assaulted her body. He reportedly said that he intended to kill and rape her, quote, from the get-go after they left her aunt's home. That's called premeditation.
Now, let me say this. There is another case that happened quite a long ways back that a cousin had done something to a little neighborhood girl, and he actually put her under the bed. And I think, because I've seen a lot of people, I think, talking about that, and I think they're kind of getting this case mixed up with that. So this is a much newer case here.
And when he realized that people were looking for his cousin Lily, he allegedly went back to the crime scene, moved her body, and covered it with leaves. He's been charged with first-degree intentional homicide, first-degree sexual assault, and first-degree sexual assault of a child under 13 resulting in great bodily harm. Now, what makes this case, aside from it being horrific, interesting from a legal point of view is that there was a reverse waiver hearing, and it was held over several days last August. And that is when the suspect's defense team argued that he should be in juvenile court. They cited his diagnosed psychological disorders, his tough upbringing as some of the reasons why. According to court documents, the defendant's father went to prison for 3 years for possession of child pornography and was also found in possession of several crack pipes.
Whoa. So, this boy's dad went to prison for 3 years for CP. For 3 years for CP. Now they're talking about this young man. I will call him a young man. He's 14. He did a big boy crime, didn't he? Wow.
The boy's parents divorced when the defendant was 2, but they had joint custody. The judge took all of this under advisement and released his ruling this month. And in this ruling, Judge Stephen Gibbs said, quote, the court disagrees that a possible 10-year confinement in the juvenile system, registering as a sex offender, and that the defendant would be vulnerable to the adult system would be punishment enough for the
There he
defendant.
is.
Yeah, so when we talk about the difference between adult court or juvenile court, it is mostly centered around the punishment. And my understanding is that this defendant, he would age out of the juvenile system.
I don't know,
25. So
Granny.
clearly you're seeing the judges saying this case deserves to remain in adult court. See, the judge seemed to also be concerned about trying this case in a juvenile court, that would take away from the seriousness of this crime. Now, it's our understanding that under Wisconsin law, anyone who is at least 10 years old and is accused of first or second degree homicide is considered an adult in Wisconsin's court system. This defendant will turn 16 in March. The teen is being held on a $1 million bond and could face life in prison if he's convicted on the intentional homicide charge. By the way, one of my favorite things about being a host on Law and Crime is how passionate our audience is. You guys don't just sit back and watch. You engage. You leave comments. You give us feedback. You make your opinions known, which I can't tell you how much I appreciate. But one of the most popular opinions is how much you love our police body cam videos. And I'll tell you, I agree. I think
I
they're
don't care about that
fantastic.
right now,
They're
mister.
unpredictable.
Sorry.
You have a young boy accused of murdering his cousin.
Well, good morning, Jesse. Always good to be with you. My initial gut response to this is it's an act of evil, and this 14-year-old, while he may be chronologically a juvenile, he certainly made an adult decision to use your words, to have a premeditation about slaughtering his cousin and then sexually assaulting her. So in an act of necrophilia, and it sounds like that was the order of things that he was
Wow.
going to perform. And
Wow. Well, y'all. Trigger warning. Trigger warning. I don't even know how to word some of this stuff. I mean, I think we all know what necrophilia is. He premeditated this. Premeditated this. Why are you changing the subject, Granny? I talked about that the other day.
that takes some thought. That takes some planning. That takes some sort of, again, premeditation. This was not something that happened in the moment. So when you've got a juvenile that's making adult decisions, I think the judge is right on. He needs to be held accountable in that courtroom.
Have you ever seen, in your experience, an alleged familial crime like this between such young people?
Well, I have. I didn't work the cases, but I have seen in my tenure at the in homicide at HPD, we did see cases.
Okay, so we know his daddy went to prison for 3 years for CP. Now, could this boy have been in that environment, right? Could this boy have been put in an environment because of his father? I would think so. I mean, if the father went to prison for 3 years and this boy is 14, then his dad went to jail when he was 10, 11 years old. Wow.
Tenure at the in homicide at HPD, we did see cases like this where we had family members that were killing other family members, and it's almost inconceivable when you think about families, but in the way our culture and our society has developed over the last 60 years or so, I mean, the destruction of the family, I think family ties have become less important, and it's greatly disturbing when we see an act of violence like this take place within a family unit.
I guess going back to the juvenile adult question, people would look at this and would disagree because they would look at his age. And I'm not surprised that he is being tried as an adult. Also, because this is happening in Wisconsin, and we covered the Slender Man stabbing on Law and Crime. That's when two 12-year-old girls, they were tried in adult court for stabbing their classmate. Thankfully, she survived. But there's also this effort, of deterrence too. So it's not just the seriousness of the crime, but you have to deter this kind of behavior. Having said that,
and remember, the girls, the Slenderman case, they went to mental hospitals. One got out. The other one had turned 21 and wanted to leave the mental hospital. This boy at 14 years old, to premeditate this, absolutely, in my opinion, knew right from wrong. Knew right from wrong.
You know, other judges, maybe in other jurisdictions, would suggest or say that he's too young, that the juvenile system is the appropriate place. 10 years in a juvenile system is a punishment, would go on the registry. But you disagree? You feel that the judge made the right decision?
I disagree. I think the judge made the right decision
I do disagree
also.
with that. I think the judge is spot on. It's good to see we've got a jurist that's sitting there and is looking at the real world, not the pretend world of people that think, oh, he's a child and this and that. You know, the problem here is that the decision that he made, again, to slaughter his cousin, Lily, and
he was his.
It's almost incomprehensible to me, but these are problems that go much deeper than just it's a kid that went and did something bad. These are problems, and I've said it repeatedly, these are problems of the head and the heart. Yeah. And, this kid, it's unfortunate. It's just that there has to be, look, everybody's redeemable. And this 14-year-old that's committed this act has got to be held accountable for the severity of the act that he committed.
Now, I'm going to say this, and people can agree with me or not. This is just my opinion. For a 14-year-old to premeditate what he was going to do to his cousin, he knew he was going to do it. He talked about doing things to someone who's not alive anymore. Just all of that put together, if they were to try this child in juvenile court, the chances of him being released at the age of 18 to 21 would possibly be laid on the table. Okay? And I think, this is my opinion, that if that were the case, that this boy would do it again, right? Would do it again, in my opinion.
He made an adult decision. I know he's 14 years old, but he made an adult decision, and it doesn't sound like he had any hesitation in it when as you've said, this is what he was going to do from the get-go, and that's a quote. So, yeah, I've got no problem with it. He's got to be held accountable.
We're going to get into that confession in a minute, and we're going to get into maybe some of the evidence, but I do want to just take a second to talk about his father, because I think this is an interesting aspect of it. So, as I mentioned, the father of this suspect, he's identified as Adam Berger. Berger was convicted, served 3 years in prison for possession of child pornography. He's now on supervised probation. He's on the sex offenders registry. The Daily Mail reported that there were all of these letters that were submitted to the court years ago in support of him, before the killing of Lily Peters, in support of him getting unsupervised contact with his son. And they said that this suspect, he looked unhappy when he was with his mother. He was really sad when his dad went away. I just find what his father was convicted of and having this relationship with his son, it's not like the father was convicted of mail fraud, convicted of a crime regarding children. And now we are talking about a crime in relation to a child. From your investigative perspective, is there anything there that you would like to know more? Would you like to explore a little bit?
Well, sure.
So, letters to convince a judge that this man who had been in jail for 3 years for child P should get unsupervised visitations with this child. Boy, not yet a man, but making adult decisions. That would be a problem. And, you know, Jack, you were talking about the human mind and, you know, what effects, you know, different things have and things like that. And, you know, I might do that. I've talked about that before. And when we talk about psychopaths and different things like that, it's very interesting. I'll touch base on that again, Jack. I'm glad you said that. Thank you for mentioning it. And we will touch base on that.
Well, sure. Anything like this, any homicide that I work, any murder that I work, I always did a psychological autopsy on the suspect. And that gives me the ability to go in and conduct a productive interview in most cases. I will tell you that all of those circumstances, whatever these environmental circumstances were with this kid growing up and so forth and so on, you know, that's tragic. It's horrible. You know, the Bible talks about sins of the father being passed down. Now, all I can say is
Hey,
that
Cheryl.
he knew what he was doing was wrong. This is the whole point of a child going out and committing something like this, and then we're trying to give them a little bit of a pass because of the way they were raised or their environmental conditions as they were growing up. And that, to me, it's not a viable argument, but you know, he knew what he did was wrong.
Yes,
he knew
did.
before he did it that it was wrong.
He did.
And then when he finds out that they're out looking for Lily, what does he do? He goes back to the body and tries to hide it, tries to cover it up.
That's what he did.
It's just the same thing, you know, Cain killing Abel. I mean, it's just
when after he unalived Lily and he knew that she was being looked for, he went back to the scene and tried to cover her up with leaves and stuff. So he was trying to hide. He was trying to hide it, right?
it's the same scenario.
I know I say this a lot, but unfortunately, in the stories that we cover, like Lily Peters, the world is frightening at times. The truth is, you just don't know what is going to happen.
It's very frightening.
I want to talk about our great partner and sponsor here on Sidebar, Morgan & Morgan, because if you get injured, and those events, they happen out of nowhere, you should know how to protect your rights and whether you could be compensated for what that kind of mental health defense working here based on the limited facts we have.
No, I agree. Insanity is a pretty high bar. I know it is in Texas, and you have to understand that you know the questions about the insanity defense is did you know the planning of it was wrong? Did you know the commission of it was wrong? And if both of those things are yes, then insanity defense goes right out the window. This was a calculated. This wasn't an in the moment type of thing that all of a sudden something manifested itself and he went crazy, he went insane and did something. This was a planned event that he was going to carry out regardless. It just, she happened to be the easy target and she was the soft target. He's the one that he went for, but you've got to go back. He went back and he covered her up.
Yes, he did.
That act in and of itself indicates that he knew what he did was wrong. He knew planning it was wrong, and then he had to go back and cover it up.
Let's talk about the confession, because aside from the fact that defense would argue maybe, let's say, a mental health defense, they may say that confession should be thrown.
Oh, Vic, we love you. I hope you get to feeling better. I'm so sorry you don't feel well. CPS wouldn't have been involved if the father was given unsupervised visitation. Exactly. You cannot claim insanity when you go back and cover it up. You cannot, but, okay, and y'all know my live has gotten so graphic right now that I cannot monetize this live through YouTube. So I'm just going to say it because you guys know I don't like to bullshit. He premeditated it. It wasn't like it was just a girl on her bike and this was his cousin. This was his cousin. So not only does he premeditate what he's going to do to his cousin, but to turn around and perform the act of necrophilia could they say because of that fact, if they believe that, could possibly this boy get some kind of mental could they say he was not mentally right in his mind because of that fact? So you got premeditation, which says he knew exactly what he was doing. He knew exactly what he was going to do. This wasn't a strange little girl. This was his cousin who was riding her bike to her auntie's house. This is horrific. Horrific.
Health defense, they may say that confession should be thrown out, right? The idea of when you're interviewing such a young suspect, I think we have to understand the terms of that confession. So what would you be looking out for? Because not only did he admit, I just want everybody to know, this is where he admitted to killing and sexually assaulting his cousin. I'll give everybody a little portion of this. In the filings, it says, quote, suspect stated he and victim walked into the woods up the hill, carried his hoverboard and victim carried her bike. He stated once off the trail, he punched victim in the stomach, knocking her to the ground. Stated that he then struck her in the head approximately 3 times with a large stick. Stated that he straddled the victim while the victim was laying on her back and strangled her until he believed she was deceased. And then regarding the sexual assault, it consisted of him allegedly biting her. So those words are going to be what I think are the strongest piece of evidence against this young person. But is there a way defense attorneys could strike that and say, maybe this confession was coerced? We have such a young suspect here being questioned by law enforcement. What are you going to be looking out for there?
So basically what this boy's saying, he punches her, knocks her to the ground, struck her 3 times with a stick, straddled her, and then unalived her. So the act of the SA was done when he believed she was not alive anymore.
Well, in Texas, there's a process by which it would depend on how this interview is conducted. Was he in custody? Was he under arrest? Was it a custodial interview of some kind, or was it non-custodial, or was it a res gestae statement? There's a lot of circumstances here that we don't know at this point. So in Texas, there would be a process if this suspect has been charged and so forth. he would take him before a magistrate. The magistrate would read him his rights, and not in the presence of law enforcement. So this is it's between the suspect and the judge. And once that is done, then the juvenile is asked, "Would you want to talk to us?" And of course, if they say yes, then we go in, we conduct an interview with them. So there's a procedure, a process to go through in interviewing a juvenile. So I don't know what the law is there, and I would imagine the circumstances under which this interview was conducted is going to be within the parameters of that law, and so it's going to be a good interview. Now they're going to try to suppress it. That's just a matter of drill, but I don't.
If he takes it to trial and doesn't plead guilty and try to seek some sort of leniency in a way, look, Phil, I don't want to take too much of your time. I do want to ask you real quick about one final thing that stood out to me. Curious if it stood out to you. Obviously, they have more evidence than we probably know right now, in terms of DNA. But I just think the crime scene shows that a young person did this, in the sense that the spot where her body was found was kind of in the open. It was very close to a brewing company. It's within view of the row of houses on the other side of this large lake. And it seems to me that the ability of him to carry her body or move her body, given his age, given his lack of resources, that signals to me that perhaps a young person committed this crime. Am I totally off there? I mean, doesn't have a car, doesn't have the strength of an adult, does it right out in the open, allegedly. That's just that stood out to me.
Well, I think it may show a lack of maturity in trying to cover up what he had done in those terms. But I mean, obviously he can't put her body on his hoverboard and get her out of there. I mean, that's so sure, but you got to understand though, you've got a kid who's making a plot. He's plotting this out, and that's the way he's thinking. He's made an adult decision to do what he's going to do. But you're right. I think I agree with you that in the mechanics of it, he didn't really think through the end of this thing. That's why he went back and he picked a spot that he thought was going to be isolated. He probably picked a spot where she and he may have been before. So that's why she was comfortable going with him to the woods, this wooded area. So there's a lot of things we don't know here about why they ended up where they ended up. I think the fact that he went back when he finds out they're looking for, I mean, did he think that nobody was going to be looking for her or missing her? And then he goes back and he tries to cover this thing up. So a lot of it, while some of it, he had a plan in place that what he was going to do, but the execution of it, like you said, it was kind of not terribly masterful, and it looks like that he didn't plan for some things that he wasn't sure of at the end of it. And so I think there's
all right, y'all. Oh, wait a minute. Shit. Lord help me. Lord, help me. Help me, Lord. Help me, Lord. Prayers for Lily's family. Prayers for you, darling. What a sad case. What a sad case. It is very interesting, though, that his father went to prison for 3 years for CP. Does that have anything to do with him acting that way? I don't know. I really don't, y'all. What do you mean? Very sad. Very, very sad. It's kind of sad to me, too, that And this is just a fact. If I sat over here on my channel and cuss people and dog people out, talk shit, got into a crap load of drama, and this is just a fact, I would get 1,000 views or more on my live streams. But when you're talking about cases like this, people, I don't think, maybe it's just the community too, to a certain extent. It's like they're not as interested. One thing that always bothered me with a lot of these cases, and especially in Summer's case, it's the dramatization of it all, right? Yeah, Jack, I kind of wondered that too. They said he was unhappy with his mom. His dad had to try to, try to, I don't understand how people wrote a bunch of letters saying that his dad should get unsupervised visitation of this boy, right? So, I mean, what does that tell us? Does that tell us that his dad had done something to him at a younger age? I mean, I don't know. Maybe that will come to light, right? Maybe that will come to light. I do hope this is a safe place. I try to make, I do try to keep, you know, keep things safe for people over here. I try to. I'm not perfect, though. I am not perfect. Things happen sometimes. But it just really got me when they started talking about his father and what his father went to prison for. And like I said, he had to have been what, 10, 11? Because he's 14 now. And honestly, you guys, it takes a sick individual. It takes a sick individual to, especially a 14-year-old, to premeditate something so horrible. I mean, it's crazy. What's wrong with people? So whoever this boy was living with, was he being paid attention to at home? What was going on at home? Things like that. And I'm going to look into that a lot further and see if I can, get some question answered. See if we can find out what, maybe what was going on behind the scenes a little bit more. I'm definitely going to keep up with crazy mama who hurt her foot and decided then she should go to the hospital when her little boy should have been seeing a medical professional long before that. I mean, crazy Walmart lady, she comes out like she's the perfect parent. She even has family members coming out and saying that, you know, everything was good in their hood, so how dare they take her children from her, right? Me neither, Teresa. Me neither. Indianapolis, Vanita. Indianapolis. And I don't even watch the news that much, but if Todd watches the news all the time, so usually if I'm walking past and I hear something like that, then I'm like, oh my gosh, that's something I need to talk about. But I do overhear a lot, you guys. I talk about, I do talk about a lot of things that, grab my attention and pique my interest. And, I appreciate you guys because, it's like a lot of us are on the same wavelength, you guys all, hear of cases or something like that I'm like, I've been following that. So I just got to, thank you, AC. I just got to get, you guys know me and my lives. Sometimes I talk about a couple different things and I know I should get better at that and, try to switch it up and get all my ducks in a row or whatever, but couple bucks, some people will stick up for those peeps. I mean, he hasn't, this young boy has a right to an attorney. And will they use his confession? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if a judge is going to allow it. Thank you, Sky Maiden. I try not to have drama over here, you guys. Drama just, not that I don't like to watch drama, because I do like to watch drama. But my drama is watching the Housewives and Below Deck and stuff like that. I just don't get into a lot of the YouTube drama. I try really hard to stay away from that stuff. Do I have my opinions about it? Absolutely 1,000%. Right? Thanks, Jack. Absolutely. This crazy drama stuff going on YouTube is just, but it's been going on forever, okay? It's been going on for a long time. So, but I'm going to get off here. I've been on here a little over 2 hours. I'm going to start trying not to be on here for 3 hours because I know that to go back and watch a 3 hour live is just really hard for some people. And I will go in and make sure that I put the couple of other things that we talked about in the description so people aren't whacked in the face with, the couple other things I talked about. But I don't know. I don't know what. I mean, honestly, what do we do? What do we do? I don't know. I can write a letter to my governor. I can write a letter to the mayor. I can write a letter to Congress. I can write a letter or whatever. Thank you, Cheryl. Tell Vic I hope she gets better. I really do. We love you, Vic. Please get better. Thanks, Benita. Well, I'm glad people, Usually, if I get a little feisty with somebody, I'm glad they come back because, you know, I don't really, my heart isn't being a bitch towards people. I know that I get real passionate sometimes about what I'm talking about and stuff, but my heart's in the right place for sure. My heart is in the right place for sure. Yeah, yeah. I don't want to go over a couple hours. So, and we'll talk about Summer's case again. We will definitely, I'm not going to talk about Summer's case, and I'm really passionate about Summer's case for sure. There's just so much going on right now on YouTube, and with all that drama stuff, and so I just needed to step back a little bit on that. Thank you, Jack. And it doesn't hurt to take a break. It doesn't hurt, a lot of people get upset. But when talking about a case, yeah, thank you, Flies. Flies is explaining to you guys that when I'm talking about a case and somebody's in chat and they start talking about a totally different case, it gets confusing because it's kind of is muddling, 2 or 3 different cases together. And it does get confusing. So it's easier for me if I do talk about one case and I'm going to talk about another. A lot of people automatically want to come in to chat and talk about Summer. And don't get me wrong, I don't mind people doing that, but I just feel like, I'm really passionate about what I talk about. And, I just feel like if all they want me to do is talk about Summer, that's hard for me. That's hard for me just to talk about Summer. I mean, I can. And there might have been some similarities. I don't know how there were similarities with a little boy who obviously, I feel, in my opinion, was neglected and ended up getting frostbite. The only similarities that I even seen with Summer's case was the fact that his mom said she was using substances. Other than that, I know we all think that the Wells children were all abused and all this other stuff. And, we've kind of come to that conclusion. But if there was any fact or receipts showing that Dawn and Candace abused those children as bad as what some people want to say, I don't know how they wouldn't be in jail right now. Seriously. And I don't like them either. I don't like them. And that is sad, Katie Ann, that there is not anything new to talk about in Summer's case. That is very sad. But, all these children need to be talked about, right? Yes, I am, Damaris. Where's my ruler? I lost my ruler. Where did my ruler go? I don't even know what I did with my ruler. Where are you, ruler? Oh, here it is. All right. My ass is getting off here. Don't know if you learned anything today. Hopefully you did a little bit. It is everywhere, Flies, and it is so sad. It is so freaking sad. But talking about it, making people completely aware that this is going on everywhere. It's going on in my state. It's going on in your state. It's going on in your county. It's going on in your little town. It's going on down the street. It's going on everywhere, everywhere. And I'm not going to stop talking about it. I'm not going to stop, you know, I'm not going to stop. And I don't want to sound mean or anything, but even though we don't have any news in Summer's case, and I will never, ever not think of her or quit talking about her, but I'm going to make sure that people know that this stuff is going on. This stuff is going on. And I don't know. It's going on with your neighbor, Jack. Lord, let me tell you, that's a fine line, isn't it? That is a fine line. Some neighbors are cray-cray. Serious. I got a cray-cray neighbor. Everybody knows my crazy neighbor. Seriously. And especially with neighbors, if you say anything and then you turn around, did I say hi, nicely done? But you turn around and you know, you say something. This is what I think is sad, because this does happen. When you call CPS, you are the cray-cray neighbor. Oh, bullshit. No, that wouldn't happen. Let me tell you, that ain't gonna happen. When you call CPS, it is supposed to be private. Okay? They always say, oh, if you see something, say something. Call the hotline. Call Child Protective Services. Let them know what's going on. And tell me if I'm wrong, that a lot of people, when they call Child Protective Services, Child Protective Services goes right to them people and says, so-and-so called us. This person called us. How much sense does that make? How much sense does that make? She's got 7 kids and only 3 are with her. Lord have mercy. That's craziness. Oh gosh, a cray-cray neighbor story. Oh, come on. Oh my gosh. Let's just put it like this. It's a neighbor who said, remain calm, lives across the street from me. Wee. And me, being me, I'm like, shut the fuck up, bitch. I don't need to hear your shit. Shut up. No, I don't mess with her. I don't see her. I don't communicate. Oh, craziness. So yeah, nothing exciting about the cray-cray neighbor. I got a couple cray-cray neighbors. CPS calls. Let me tell you, they a lot of times will say that it's private, and CPS will go straight to them people and tell them who called. I'm not fibbing about that at all. I am not fibbing about that at all. Absolutely. CPS, well, so-and-so called. So-and-so called. I one time when my kids was little danced in the yard with a 6-foot glow-in-the-dark skeleton. Is that crazy enough? No, that doesn't sound crazy at all, Flies. What's crazy is, for a long time, you've lived on coleslaw. But I don't want you to change your name. I want you to stay on that coleslaw, because you're doing just fine on that coleslaw. Oh, how could you forget it? Nicely done. Lord have mercy. No way, Flies. Why would the cops come if you were dancing with a skeleton? Was it a real skeleton? All right. You guys want me to sing you a song? I will try, but I don't know. I may butcher it. I may butcher this song, and if I do, Riri's gonna kill me. I wouldn't think that they would have to ask to be private. The neighbors thought it was an alien. Do you guys really believe that there were aliens at the mall? Remember when that came out, that the aliens were in the mall? And people were screaming and running out, and all them cops showed up, and they showed pictures of these, shadow people. They were strutting in the mall like here we are. And people were running from them. Nobody stopped and said, hey, who are you? What are you doing here? Did you come to hang out in the mall? People just freaked out and ran. Well, I ain't running. If I see a shadow figure, I may have a heart attack before I can run. Yes, Jack, I agree. I think it was shadow people. I think that the hall was haunted. The mall was haunted, okay? And what happened was, these spirits, they were like, we are sick of these people coming in here, tearing stuff up, acting a fool. Because don't forget, it had something to do with some teenagers or something. Like Ghostbusters. They brought the box in. Ghostbusters, how they suck up all the spirits into the metal box. And I think them kids were like, let's take this box full of entities, and we're going to release them at this mall and see how everybody acts. Well, it sure worked out for them real good. Yeah, they were sick of all the high prices in Miami. That's what I said. Of all places, we have an alien sighting in Las Vegas and then Miami. What's up, spirits? Oh, you went ghost hunting last night? I went to Waverly Hills Sanitarium one time. I took my daughter and a little girl that I worked with there. We had a lot of fun. And then we left the haunted Waverly Hills Sanitarium. And this was many, 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 many years ago. And we stayed all night, and we went down to the bar at the motel and got a little shit-faced and sang karaoke. Because that's how I rolled back then. Now I don't drink, but I'll still sing karaoke. For sure. Mink and Hasusa clothing for kids. Wow. You know what I always wanted? Machino, Jeremy Scott. He does all the, is it Machino or whatever it is? I was going to get a t-shirt. And I'm like, I am not paying $200 for a t-shirt just because it says Machino or whatever the hell it is. See, I can't even remember how to say it. It's just messed up. It is messed up. For real. For the real. All right. What do you guys want me to sing? I can't sing. I don't think I can sing any Rihanna. I don't think my voice can do it. Shine bright like a diamond. 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 Fine light in a beautiful sea. I choose to be happy. You and I, we're like diamonds in the sky. You're a shooting star I see, a vision of ecstasy. When you hold me, I'm alive. We're like diamonds in the sky. I knew that we'd become one right away. Oh, right away. At first sight, I felt the energy of some rays. I saw the light inside your eyes. Tonight, you and I were beautiful like diamonds in the sky. I so alive. We're beautiful like diamonds in the sky. Shine bright like a diamond. Shine bright like a diamond. Shine bright like a diamond. Whoa. Shine bright like a diamond. Shine bright like a diamond. We're beautiful like diamonds in the sky. Palms right to the universe as we moonshine and Molly. Feel the warmth, we'll never die. We're like diamonds in the sky. You're a shooting star, I see. A vision of ecstasy. When you hold me, I'm alive. We're like diamonds in the sky. At first sight, I felt the energy of the sun rays. I saw the light inside your eyes. Tonight, you and I were beautiful like diamonds in the sky. I so alive. We're beautiful like diamonds in the sky. Shine bright like a diamond. Shine bright like a diamond. Oh, it's a Damaris's birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Damaris. Happy birthday to you. How's that? Shine bright like a diamond. That is funny. That is funny. I cracked myself up. Why didn't you tell us it was your birthday, Damaris? Are you over 18, Damaris? We need to know. You know, we don't let kids over here, Damaris. I think you're maybe 21. Did you just turn 21? Inquiring minds want to know. But happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Cha, cha, cha. We could get some beat to it. Happy birthday to you. Ancient secret. That's so funny. 55? You're 55, Dammers? I thought you were younger than that. I thought you were younger than that, dude. Holding on. Why is everything so heavy? Holding on. There's so much more than I can carry. I keep dragging around what's bringing me down. If I just let go, I'd be set free. Holding on. Why is everything so heavy? You say that I'm paranoid, but I'm pretty sure pirates out to get me. It's not like I make the choice to let my mind stay so fucking messy. I know I'm not the center of the universe, but you can spin around me just the same. I know I'm not the center of the universe, but you can spin around me just the same. Oh, thank you. Nicely done. I love Linkin Park. I love Chester Bennington. All the songs that I love, most of the people have passed away. Chris Cornell, I loved his stuff. If you guys ever want to see a freaking great performance, go to, it's a tribute to Chris Cornell. Miley Cyrus sings, what is it she sings? Go find it and listen to Miley Cyrus sing. She sings a song, and I can't think of the name of it right off the top of my head. But my gosh, man, she just kills this song. It is so cool. And I can't think of it off the top of my head. I love Chris Cornell, too. Black hole sun, won't you come and wash away the rain? Black hole sun, won't you come? Won't you come? That's for you, Chris. I loved how Chester, because I'll never forget when Chester did Rolling in the Deep. He sounded so good. There's a fire starting in my heart, reaching a fever pitch, and it's bringing me out to dark. Finally, I see things crystal clear. Don't underestimate the things that I won't fear. Rolling in the deep. Love you, Chester. Love me some Chester, too. You guys, I watch freaking all kinds of music. I'm a genre kind of girl. I just hadn't really got, I mean, I know some rap songs, but, you know, I just don't do them as well as the rappers. So, all right, my ass is getting off here. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for hanging out. It don't cost time, be kind. If you gotta get a little feisty, go right ahead and do it. If somebody's messing with you, you know what? Just tell them fuck off. That's what I do. Just tell them to fuck off. Move on down the road. You don't ever have to speak their name again. Okay? You can just be like, bye-bye. Bye-bye-bye. Baby, bye-bye-bye. You too, Flies. You have a blessed day, you little whippersnapper, you. Can someone tell me what the genre is called a song like Damaris Goddess? Damaris's music has a genre all of its own. I call it just cool. Fantabulous. That's Damaris's genre of music is fantabulous. Fantastic and fabulous all rolled into one. That's what I say. All right, my ass is off of here. I will catch you guys later. Have a good evening. Stay safe, stay warm. And Jack, I feel bad for you with a neighbor like that. I know how that is. We will be thinking of you. Thank you, Jackie. All right, later, guys. Peace out. Peace out, everyone.